So guys, welcome to the start of the best week of the year. It's Monterey Car Week starting on Monday, but we're starting all the activities today. We're spending the weekend in LA. First thing, we're gonna check out the Peterson Museum. And honestly, we're just gonna see a bunch of hypercars this weekend, and then you guys know what happens in Monterey Car Week. It's gonna get absolutely crazy. But we just landed here and let's start seeing some hypercars. So guys, we do have a very long day today. It's only like 11 a.m. I think, but we're gonna do a quick run through of the important stuff here. I'm not gonna show you everything because again, we have a long day, but behind me are some of the most iconic cars I've ever seen in my life, and honestly, I didn't expect to see this one ever in my life. Let's start with this, one of the most iconic concept cars from the 90s. This is the Ford GT90. Before they recreated the Ford GT in 05, 06, this was the concept, and they ended up only building the one, but look at how crazy this thing looks. So based off an XJ220 chassis, but this one actually had the V12 like the XJ220 was supposed to have. This interior is wild with this like bubble top. Like, it's absolutely crazy. No car looks like this. The exposed shifter, it's just crazy that this came out in the 90s. And the craziest part is this car is actually functional and drives. You can see the V12 right here. And the coolest part, in my opinion, of the car, other than the crazy looks and the exhaust pipes and just all the design work, the tires actually say GT90 on them. This is crazy attention to detail, and this car resides in Oklahoma normally. It does get driven. Zach Braille shot it recently, and then, you know, it went viral. People forgot it existed, and now we see it here. I'm so happy to see a car this crazy in person. This is peak 90s, just craziness engineering. But this thing right here, let me tell you about this. The Chrysler ME Four Twelve, ME Four Twelve, whatever you want to call it. This was my favorite car in my favorite video game, Test Drive Unlimited 1. Fastest car in the game, 400 kilometers an hour, I think 248 miles an hour, 850 horsepower. So this car is crazy. I think most people don't even know that this exists. And the fact that it's right here, I think when I played the game, I didn't even know that this is a real car, but it is. So 4 turbos, V12, and it is just absolutely wild. And look at this. This is a proper hypercar, and they never ended up making it because I guess the Mercedes SLR was coming around that time, and this is a Mercedes V12. They didn't want it overshadowing the car. Again, guys, I don't really get too excited about seeing a lot of cars because I've pretty much seen most things at this point, but these two are just cars that I never thought I would see. This one, I started getting hope because it has started showing up on social media, but this one, I forgot this car existed because I didn't think I'm ever going to see this. And I actually think this was in a Ludacris music video, I believe. I'm not sure if it was Ludacris, but it was in some music video. And this is the Cadillac Sienna. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know as much about this car as I do about those. I don't think this was in the same amount of video games, but 750 horsepower, V12, same kind of class of car, crazy design that we just sadly never saw this category of car come to life. Because imagine if these were the hypercars of the 2000s or the 90s. Such a different world from what actually ended up happening. Well, guys, recently Shelby has been kind of all over social media. So Curated have had this Shelby Cobra that was a one-off with a V10 from the 2000s that was a tribute to the 60s Shelby Cobras. Now, they made another car like this, and it's right here. This is the GT1. This is kind of a tribute to the Daytona that they made back then. The Daytona, I think they only made 6 or 7 units back then as well. So even then, it was a super rare car, but this is kind of the modern take of that car. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really know what's here. I'm just walking around and seeing the stuff I like, and I'm just turning the corner and there's a Bugatti Divo. So we gotta go check that out. So here is the 1 of 40 Bugatti Divo. I think this is the first special variation that's kind of based off of the Chiron that was kind of its own car. This is the real just track version of the car, full carbon body. And again, they're so rare and you just never see them. People don't really tend to drive them. They're mostly just sitting in collections being displayed, but it's crazy to see one right in front of us here. Now, this is a Pagani Huayra BC, but it's not any Huayra BC. This specifically is probably the most customized Huayra BC in the world. So you have this roof scoop that very few of the Huayra BCs actually have, but this is the only one that has the scoops right here, kind of like a Zonda Cinque. It looks incredible in this blue exposed carbon. I think we might have seen this from a little far last year at Car Week, but right now we get to take a pretty close look at it. Look at the spoiler. I think even this is a little different than other Huayra BCs, but this looks so freaking good in the exposed carbon with the sliding in front of the Divo. But bringing things back to earth and kind of your more normal supercar is here, the 1000 horsepower SF90 Spyder. Even though this is a normal supercar, realistically, it's probably faster than the Huayra in the real world, and maybe even the Divo. So now we're in the movie car section, but I'm gonna just show you 2 cars that actually mean something to me. Right here is the Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, one of the greatest car movies ever. Now, this car kind of became a cult classic, and there's so many companies that have been making these Eleanors, and they're worth a ton of money, but this is the real one. And surprisingly, it actually doesn't look as aggressive as all the ones you see on the road, all the ones that are going for 250, 300,000. This one looks a little bit more tamed down. The hood is not as aggressive. Just the whole car looks a little bit more stock, to be honest. And I kind of really like this look. And the other car I wanted to show you guys is this, the S2000 from Too Fast, Too Furious. Probably the movie that I have watched the most out of any movie in the world. I can literally recite every line from that movie, but how iconic is this? Seeing the car, this is awesome. Just waiting outside the Petersen in a Ford GT Heritage, just as casually driving in like it's no big deal. Look at this. And this looks like it's a Heritage Edition GT 500. Very, very cool. Carbon wheels, everything. I like that. A lot of cool Fords today. Good thing we saw this Ford GT pulling in, because if we were to just go park, we would probably miss it right here. Front parked like a champ, but Heritage Edition Ford GT, like the 06, proper car. But we are now at Regera, the McLaren dealership here. There's a lot of the new 750s. Honestly, I'm really starting to like them. I like the body color. I'm a big fan of color. I don't like too much contrast, so this looks really good. But on the other side here, we have some very special cars. Let's go take a look at them. As simple as the Senna might be, I really like this. This is the launch spec, and everybody that optioned out these Sennas went all out with the carbon bodies and all that. It became really rare to see a just launch edition, kind of launch spec with the regular colors Senna, and honestly, I think it looks incredible. And moving past the Senna, look at this Chiron, very classy spec with the kind of light blue and the dark blue with the brown interior. Man, just a regular, same thing. You don't have to go above and beyond with all your specs. This is kind of more on the simple side, just a regular Chiron, but it looks honestly really, really good. Nathaniel just ran inside. We were wondering where he is, because again, this is his first trip outside of Toronto for cars. And there's some cars there that he's never seen before, but what did you say when you came in?
A P1 GTR and a Regera.
Let's go find out. Okay then, I guess Nathaniel had a valid reason for not being inside. Look at that. Oh. P1 GTR. Wild. Look at this thing on the road. Like, what? This car is so aggressive. Like, a P1's so aggressive, but this full app in the bottom is carbon. The gigantic wing, the silver looks so good. There's a crazy metallic flake in it. The wheels, the tires, everything's so aggressive. Look at the back of this car. Are you serious? Look at these exhausts. This is absolutely mental. This is the most aggressive car you can drive on the street, like point blank period. This is insane. And guys, you know what, my bad, this is not a GTR, this is an HDK. Honestly, I've seen so many of them and it's been years, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know how to tell the difference, but regardless, they're both absolutely sick. Look at the orange interior though. I mean, what a badass car. Carbon wheels, you can see the whole barrel on the inside is carbon fiber. Yeah, the orange, all the carbon. It's kind of a nicer interior than a GTR, right? A GTR is gonna be a full-on race car. This is like a road car with this crazy body kit, and it looks freaking crazy. Look at this thing with the vents in the hood and everything. Now, we were missing a car from what Nathaniel said, and here it is. Look at this full carbon Regera just parked here away from everything. Crazy. Like, we're in LA for one day. It's still only like 2 p.m. I told you guys we're gonna have a long day today, and we're just starting. We're already seeing a Regera, P1 HDK, all these cars. So guys, like I told you in the beginning of this video, this is the best week of the year for anything car related, and this is kind of the slowest day with the least amount of cars, and we're already seeing all of this, and it's only 2 p.m. So make sure to subscribe and keep watching for the next 10 days. I'm gonna have a video up every single day. And if you think this is crazy and the cars around here are crazy, this is nothing compared to what's going to be in 3, 4, 5 days from now. Okay, so back to these cars. You know, I just said the Chiron and the Senna are kind of very classic, very simple specs, but this is definitely not that. This is so crazy, out of the ordinary, overboard spec on this Sabre with this color shift and carbon. Color shift even shows on the edges of the seat. And of course, it's the McLaren Senna, like absolute bucket seats. Like, this is the most aggressive seats you can get on any car. Wild spec. We are on the way to Pagani, and randomly there's a Diablo VT just right there, casually, no big deal. So we kind of came here with a big group of people. We flooded the whole place, but guys, look at how flooded the place is with hypercars. Jason, what do you think so far of the lineup today?
Which one are you buying?
I don't know. Which one are you buying me?
I'll buy one if you buy one.
Oof. Okay, give me like 10 years.
Alright then.
Okay, done. But then you gotta buy one. But yeah, let's look. Look at this Imola Huayra. The carbon looks crazy. It almost looks like the carbon that you would see on a Zonda R rather than a road car. It's all matte carbon. Gold wheels contrast so well with this. Insanely aggressive roof scoop. And from the roof scoop, there's this little fin that kind of goes here all the way to the wing, almost like a Veneno. And then the wing is in red. The interior is black and red. And obviously Pagani interiors just look like no other interiors. But if you like Paganis, there's one and two other Paganis here along with a lot of other cars. Let's go look at them. Now this Huayra is a pretty controversial spec, but I gotta say I love it because there's so much attention to detail. So first of all, I like Paganis that are not all carbon bodies. I like a lot of paint. Here you see this really good looking blue paint, but you still get a lot of blue carbon as well, which sometimes it's a risk to do the same color carbon as your paint, but this had actually turned out pretty nice. Now, controversial thing about this car is the white painted headlights. Again, might not be everybody's taste, but it's brave to do something like this, and it's kind of thinking out of the ordinary, and I actually really like it. You got the Tempesta lip right here in blue carbon, but just when you thought the mix of colors couldn't get any better, the mirrors, same thing. You got blue carbon here, white underneath, and then you have blue carbon going all the way up here, and even the wheels have this white lip, blue wheels, white calipers, keeping the same theme throughout the whole car. Even here in the bottom of the skirt, the interior's got this brown and blue, but the blue is this blue Alcantara that honestly looks so good and so fresh. Look at this interior. The attention to detail in this car, like I said, is crazy. Let's look at the back. So Tempesta package with titanium exhaust, but white flaps, blue carbon everywhere else other than paint, keeping the same themes throughout the whole car. Looks incredible. One of 99 shooting brake Zagatos, and this one is in matte white. I've seen, I think, a gray one or black one in Montreal. Don't really see them ever other than that because they're such really rare and unique collector cars, but there's one right here next to this SF90 white on red. But the big brother to the SF90 is right here. Look at this yellow LaFerrari. I believe this car might have been here last year, but I'm not too sure. I know there was a LaFerrari. Then a green Ferrari 296. I'm hearing these are pretty fun to drive. I haven't driven this or the SF90 yet, but I think because of the size and how light this car is, it's actually more fun than an SF90. And here's probably what will be your most normal spec out of any car here. Not saying it's a normal car at all, because it's still a 918 Spyder, which arguably is faster than the LaFerrari and maybe even faster than the P1. This is probably the best all around for driving purposes hypercar out of the three. And again, removable roof as well. And it's so aggressive and so nice that, again, these are incredible to drive. I've been lucky enough to have a chance to drive one of these. I love this thing, but next to it is something very special. So this Veyron is very cool because to people that might not know, this might look like a Supersport because you have the Supersport bumper and the new headlights, but this is actually a Mansory one. The difference is, look at the carbon work on the middle of the car. I've never seen a carbon pattern like this, and it's a different hood. You see the design kind of right here. And you can also tell it's not a Supersport because it has these two intakes on the roof, whereas the Supersport doesn't. They're kind of dug in for more kind of slick aerodynamics. The whole roof, though, has this pattern right here going all the way to the wing and the whole back part of the car. So it's kind of two-tone carbon with the white and HRE wheels. But the nice thing about this, Mansory, I think, is a kind of love it or hate it type of taste. This one, they really didn't go overboard to the point where this actually does look really good, and I think most people would like it. I don't think it's too controversial. The interior stayed stock completely, and yeah, it just honestly, like, it's got little details like here and the little kind of indents on the fenders right there, but other than that, it's not too different. They didn't overdo it. This is the right amount of modifications for a Bugatti. SF90 Spyder, always a yellow car here, and there's a yellow parking meter as well. Usually it's a phantom drop it or this. But back in the day, there actually used to be a black and yellow Veyron here all the time.
With the painted Medusa head.
Yeah. So you guys might have seen this car and the other one that's over there all over social media recently. These just got delivered. This is the final Pur Sport Chiron. So the last one of kind of the track version of the Chiron. This is one of our buddies' cars. The exposed carbon with the red looks crazy. And again, this is the real last one. I know they kind of said about a few cars, but this is it. Craziest design on a Pur Sport I've ever seen. Very, very customized. And then this is probably the highest mileage Huayra Roadster in the world. 40,000 miles on this. He drives it regularly, coast to coast. We've done some videos, I think, in this car. But yeah, super cool red carbon Huayra. And again, if you drive them, clearly they are reliable. And another addition to their collection is this GT3RS. The white with the green is honestly my favorite spec. Same spec we saw when they launched at Quail. Honestly, the perfect track car, and it's a comfortable, reliable road trip car for something like Monterey Car Week as well. So whereas that Chiron was the last Pur Sport ever made, this is the last Super Sport. So Super Sport is a longer tail, top speed car. This one is exposed blue carbon with the same style stripes as that red one with the regular carbon, but these are blue stripes. The blue interior, that one had red interior. Again, the Last Supersport and the Last Pur Sport, both the same owner. Crazy addition to a collection, and a collection that's going to get driven. As much as these are iconic for being the last ones of their kind, but these I can guarantee are going to be high mileage, used and enjoyed cars. So guys, don't you love Monterey Car Week? Again, like look at this lineup here with the other Chiron on the other side. But again, like I said, don't you love Car Week? But this isn't even Car Week. If you guys have not watched this channel before, make sure to subscribe, because honestly, this is just the beginning. This is our first and most quiet day with the least amount of supercars, and we're already rolling deep in so many supercars. We're seeing so many things. It's gonna get absolutely hectic by the end. I promise you, you're not gonna regret it. Subscribe and keep watching for the next 10 days. We're gonna have a video every single day. And before it was 2 p.m. when we saw all those cars. It's only been 2 hours since. It's still, you know, we're still gonna go out for dinner. We're gonna go out, drive more, do some more car spotting and see more cars. I love this time of year, guys. I live for this time of year. Look at all the supercars. You can't possibly be in this situation and not just be super happy, super excited about everything you see. And we are leaving the hotel, and we already found a 992 GT3RS. The spoiler is actually massive. When you're behind it, you really see it. And we were just told that when you drive that car, you actually can't see the spoiler because of how high up it is. Yeah, we had a little bit of a dry spell, but here is a Countach. Not bad. We haven't spotted anything cool in probably about an hour. Not bad.
Oh, look at that, guys. Back on the lead game. The backseat Tacoma.
This guy sounds like his car does not like being in traffic right now, but honestly still looks incredible doing it. So again, I'm not a big Aston Martin person. I don't know much about them. Nathaniel got really excited about this. I guess an AMR Rapide, which is a 4-door. Pretty cool. It's got like a forged carbon badge, but I think it's like 600 or 580 horsepower on these, and he said maybe about one of 100 made, I think. Again, I'm not too big on these because I think it does take a very particular person to choose this out of all the competition. I do get it. If you like this car, it's a cool car. I just personally don't know if that's for me, but it is a very cool car. It kind of looks different, looks more sporty and more special than the rest of the sedans you could buy. But pretty cool spot right here on Rodeo. I didn't know this existed, and 6 cars didn't know it existed. I honestly don't know. I just thought it's a new R8 and that's what it is. But I guess it's an R8 GT that looks like it has an aftermarket wing and diffuser and all that, but I guess that's factory and that's what the R8 GT is like. So I don't know anything about this, but it's, I guess. Look at this GT2 RS 991.2. Looks like it's Gulf blue. That's a pretty sick color for that car.